Hello? Gonna put that to the side actually. This one is. I'm not doing the usual that I've been doing for a while now. I could tell you guys a story. Nope. I'm actually just gonna rant. Today is a ranting video. I don't understand the need. Okay. I'm gonna branch out a little bit before I get into that part. Community and individuality. Something both very highly valued within our current day society. And in America, especially, individuality is highly favored, but then it's also ostracized and criticized when an individual actually genuinely is just doing their own thing and it's not liked by the public in that current time frame. Which is so weird because we also heavily encourage it, so much so. And we feel the people have created communities in feeling of needs to try to have a branch of individuality to themselves, but then issues pop up with it, like a while back, well, currently actually, but it started a while back, of a term called pick me. And I don't it has happened because it's usually girls trying to basically punch other girls down to make themselves. It's a lot of people say it's the concepts to make themselves look better to the eyes of a guy, which I think is true, but I don't necessarily think that's the entirety of it. I think the concept of a pick me is just they see the need to feel like they have value to themselves, that they don't see the value that they have inherently and need to express it in some way, just being able to have an identity that they can call their own but is still unique. Even more back, so I'm not like other girls, but I'm not like other girls is like a section of the pick me. And it's it's so weird because it's a case of we see an individual that's like trying to put down others around them, and then we see as bad, but it feels like a case of, oh, it's bad because they are desperately trying to get the attention of X group instead of just trying to find their own individuality, which is bad. And I wouldn't necessarily call it even that. I think it's a case of we have this weird issue of we need community. We have hyper focused so much on individuality that community is also something that we're social creatures. So we desperately just naturally need community, and it feels hard to do so, but then we also need to feel like we are unique and have value to ourselves. So on the community side, there's groups of people that love a particular thing. And this kind of feels funny, like jumping off of how I was talking about fandom related stuff. Basically, corp fandom stuff is just corporated community of like someone created a piece of art that everyone loves, and now there's going to be a community surrounding it. And but the thing is, there's a community could be surrounded by anything. This is just the most heavily pushed because it's the most easy way for people to make money off of you and money off of me and just off of people in general. So we, and it's weird because we recognize it, but also don't know how to fix it because we still want the art and we still want to have the experience of, oh, other people love this material. I could possibly bond with them and have community that way. And then it's just tough because as a whole, we keep creating new terms for issues that have always existed, but when someone gets put into a category, people just automatically assume it's solely just that and that's their whole identity and like can dismiss other people. And it can range from like a lot of things. It could be the mean girl, it could be fake, it could be so on and so forth. And there's already talks of like the self of having self, not self-love, but like self-identity, like basically creating a sense of identity within yourself so you don't have to reach out to other people for it. And I think it's very necessary, but I also think we still need to be able to work with other people around us. And for me, that's very tough because of just the life I've lived, of the not just the life I lived, I can't just blame it on my surroundings, but just who I am. Unless it's easy for me to fall into traps compared to other people, and because of that unintended gullibility, I tend to easily ostracize myself unintentionally, in turn losing community. But I have been able to basically go into myself and learn myself extremely well. And I think everyone should do this at some point in their lives, at some level, even if they are terrified of who they are, they need to learn and try to work with themselves. But I'm realizing this is unintentionally turning like spiritually into unintentional spiritual stuff. And I think there's also the fact that people, if they want to change, that they can change. And it should be, as people, we shouldn't just assume a person will change or that they have a high prospect of a good future, so they will change or they're going to change, but that in this moment someone does this, we should we should say that's bad, and if needs be, ostracize them. And if they actually change themselves, do the inner work to change themselves and be better, then we work with them. But if they don't, then we should still hold them accountable to all those other things that they've done in the past, as well as the stuff they're currently doing. And understanding the need for individuality and community, it will help people in general. Because if you understand yourself better and you can work with pe- figure out who you feel like you can trust, whether it's online or in real life, because I understand everyone's lives are going to be different and you can't just trust everyone online, but you also, a lot of people feel like they get so ostracized based off the things in their past or just the way that they are, that they have to turn to community online. I I guess my point with this is you need community and you also need individuality, and you're gonna need to be able to learn the balance of both. unintentional yin and yang, unintentional spirituality. Apologies, but I I've just noticed that as a whole, we tend to have issues with a certain person, and instead of it being a case of, oh, maybe I just don't like them and I just don't like them and that's that, or I don't like this person for X reason, but that's very illogical, that we turn to finding what things we can to nitpick about them. And it's basically like the concept of the pick me that I mentioned earlier, of beating down or beating up because we don't like this individual, but we turn using our community, our individuality, and I should have meant I thought I said this, but I don't think I did. With our desperate need for individuality, we tend to find smaller and smaller groups, and the groups constantly get smaller and smaller. I have similar issue with this as well, of just making our groups so small and then ostracize, like considering everyone else that's outside of it bad. And it it's very tough because once you do that, it's basically, as I was trying to say earlier and then cut myself off to explain myself, it's basically beating up. It's like the pick me of, I'm beating up this other individual to feel better about myself and also have more eyes or more attention or more something on me. It's more of a case of, I don't like this individual, so now I'm going to attack them without any, like, just seeing them at sometimes at face value, sometimes like you see actions and it doesn't uh connect on why, like it's something that you don't like, so you just immediately say bad. So, and I wanted to talk about this, but I feel like it's so weird to talk about. Something I've noticed with my life, when I go out and I'm just enjoying myself and I'm not messing with other people. I'm trying to be kind and nice, but I'm not like getting involved in any other people's lives. And I go about my day. I hear people nitpicking at me, which is not really an issue. But there's this one word that I hear called basic. And my brain just, it's less so of a, oh, I can't believe they called me basic. It's not that. I dress pretty plain. I don't necessarily try to do anything crazy. So I'm not bothered by it. I'm just confused on why we feel the need to see someone and just any point nitpick at them because we feel like maybe it's like a sense of, I don't like them, so I feel like I need to pick out something at them to try to tear them down, which in turn I feel like it's nasty behavior that you're projecting because you need to learn more about yourself or enriching your individuality to help be able to properly communicate with a community. And sometimes you'll find people that are similar to you, so you're able to bond with them, but then you're trying to grow as a person, and then they don't want to, so then they freak out and don't like you anymore. And uh, it it's tough. I don't I don't get it. And also another thing is with the concept of basic, we live in such a multifaceted world of so many different genres of like there's genres of genres of genres, and that's considered normal now. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be called basic. I feel like a part of me is like, you're talking about it so much, you must be bothered, but that's I feel like I just need to explain myself that of just I don't think there's anything wrong with being basic. I think as social creatures, we learn to best adapt within our surroundings and try to better learn ourselves because we we feel like we need a purpose, and so we search for a purpose in our individuality. I know I'm still searching myself. I made leaps in my life, but I'm still learning. And we also desperately try to find community so that we can feel like we belong somewhere because we need to have social interaction in order to survive because that's how we've cultivated, how we've grown. Man, this is all over the place, and I feel like knocking the wind out of myself talking about this. But yeah, just a nice rant, not even a mini rant. I see the clock. It's like nearly 17 minutes of just trying to understand people, trying to understand why. Because I hear this stuff and I'd rather understand a person even if they don't understand themselves. And I want to help people understand that just because someone is different from you doesn't mean it's bad. It's they just have a different life than you, and that should be okay. And we should try to work with each other to try to help each other out when we can. I'm not saying we always have to, because sometimes people do immoral things, and people have to turn to other sources in order to get them to get their help or to help get the safety of the community. But it most people aren't like that, so just rather try to help people out and try to help myself along the way. So, thank you for listening to my rant. I will, if you like it, if you like hearing me talk, please subscribe, and I'll let you go. Bye.